Greetings, everybody. Let me start out by saying this is not the first time Miss Kitty has come under fire for expressing how she feels as an independent woman. One of the things that I just don't get with people when a person is speaking from their own experience or a person is putting out their own opinion, why it has to affect persons in such a negative way. Miss Kitty is laying the foundation for herself. And I think one of the reasons why men are so angry about it is because they know that they fit in the description of the non progressive man. Because a man who's progressive, a man who is a family person, a man who believes in getting up and pulling himself from the bootstraps up, regardless of his experiences or his circumstances, would never have a problem with a woman saying, "This is what I desire for myself." The fact that there are individuals coming at Miss Kitty with such venom, it also highlights the problem women face in the Jamaican society with misogyny. Men thinking that they have the authority to speak for women, to dictate how a woman is supposed to be or how a woman is supposed to feel. Now, Jamaica is a matriarchal society, and that means that from the time I was a child, I would have seen that most children were raised by women, or the majority of the homes were run by women. So that alone should tell you. So if Miss Kitty says, "I'm an independent woman and I would not want to get involved with a man who doesn't have all these," and she has her list of things that she desires for herself, it is her right. Now, there are women who don't like what she's saying also because they have given up on themselves. And these women are not free and therefore are jealous of her freedom. And I'm going to explain that. So, if you're someone who didn't set great standards for yourself, and as women, sometimes we're not trained to see value in ourselves, to be walk with our self-esteem elevated. No one was there to teach a lot of these women. And so we see ourselves as, being born to service men, being born to just be the helpmate, as the scripture says, in a Christian society where women are said that you're supposed to, be lower than the man. In some religion, you can't be in the same space with the men because you're inferior, and therefore that makes the man superior. So, of course, people are going to struggle against someone who is coming out now to say, "This is what I desire." I don't want to get too much in what Miss Kitty said because you can go and listen to that for yourself. But I'm going to deal with some of the stuff that women go through. And now it's the best time to be having these conversations because a lot of women get involved with men, or say to themselves, if this man can provide this or that for me, I am, not going to choose him. And I think we're not supposed to look so much on what the man can provide for us, but what we can provide for ourselves. It doesn't matter if you are educated in a higher institution of learning or you're a skilled person. Every woman has the ability or the potential to do for herself, or should at least think of how she can take care of herself. So whether she's in a relationship or not, she's independent. If you are in a relationship, you're supposed to have that mindset that, you know what, I need to have my own money. Because even if your husband is wealthy and he's able to give you a startup, you as a female is supposed to want to do something for yourself. Because there's nothing nicer than being able to procure something for yourself, set aside something for yourself, even when you're in a relationship where if anything happens, if there any shortfall, you can say, "Okay, I'm here to assist." Women are not placing any value on themselves. And as a result, you see women go in and out of toxic situations, in and out of toxic relationship, because the value you place upon being in a relationship is what's really destroying us as women. We can grow from, joining forces with a powerful man. And that doesn't mean power in terms of wealth, but someone who has goals in life, who has ambition, who respects you as a female. And someone who understand that when both of you work together, you can attain or achieve all kinds of things. A lot of women, they have these, sorry to say, but in quotation, unwanted children. If you have kids that you can't afford, and those kids have to suffer because of your choices, the choice that you laid out for yourself where you didn't want anything, you place no value on your worth, you're willing to settle for anything, then you find that you get involved in relationships with men that you don't love, and you see that play itself out in some of these, family channels. And we're talking about across the board. You see man and woman together, and you can clearly see that that's not a love relationship. It is one of convenience. Perhaps if the woman said to herself, I am an independent woman. I want to achieve certain things by myself. I'm willing to work for it. A lot of women settle and say, I'm going to get involved with this guy because he's in a better position financially and he's going to help me. But once these women achieve what the goal that they set out for themselves, when they're in these relationships of convenience, and it works both ways. But we always hear about men using women, but women use men all the time. And one of the reasons why they do so is because they figure, okay, this will give me a chance to attain what I want to attain in life, without realizing that you can do it by yourself. Because when you get involved with men because of what they can do for you, eventually there's a resentment. You get what you wanted, but there's a resentment that comes with that. That now you see a woman is not in love with her partner, and she hates him. She resents him. She hates the fact that she laid up in bed with somebody that she didn't even like. And so that translates itself in a kind of resentment to that person. Person always angry, always bitter, always disrespectful to their partner, because guess what, you got into that situation for the wrong reason, and now you hate the other person. But in effect, what is happening is the woman hates herself. So when Miss Kitty is saying, these are my goals, these are my expectation, it's not that she's asking that the man should provide all these things for her. She's setting the example by doing or putting herself in a position to gain education, to walk in, certain pathway, to secure certain things for herself. So after she's able to do it for herself, why should she then settle for less? Now, I'm not saying that a woman can't go with someone who has less education than herself, or formal education, that is, or has less money in the bank than herself, and that work out to be a wonderful, a happy situation. But whenever you get to the point where you're saying, I am going to go with you because of the money you have, you can look at that, and then you can ignore the fact that the person doesn't have the other qualities that you're looking for. So recently we saw the picture of that man, abusing the woman, and there's allegation that there was a member of parliament. We're still, the jury's still out on that. We're not sure exactly what is going on with that situation. But a woman who is married to or is dating someone, of influence, that woman would feel, you would think, would feel secure because she's dating somebody who is, powerful or is wealthy. And in those situations, there can also be this inequality that exists between these individuals, because one person has, no education, one person cannot take care of themselves financially, and so they're then subject to all kinds of abuse from the ones who hold the power in that relationship. And in some cases, people say, where's the pants in that relationship? So when you're deciding on partnership, there's so many things to consider, not just about who can take care of who financially, but a decision made between these two partners as to how they're going to work out their situation, where, there's give and take and there's support. Sometimes a woman doesn't work and her husband might be the only person working, but she's providing her partner with something else. For example, she stays home. They don't have to pay for childcare. She stays home and she's able to run the household but this is what they're agreeing to. So that doesn't mean that every man and every woman in a household have to be making the same amount of money. But if a woman like Miss Kitty says, I want to be able to maintain a certain lifestyle. I want to look a certain way. And I'm able to do these things for myself. And therefore, I don't really need someone to do these things for me. She's looking for someone where she can say, well, we're equal partners in this. And what I can do for myself, you can also supplement it. You can add to that. She's not interested in someone taking care of her needs. She's saying, I'm a high maintenance woman and I'm doing all these things for myself. Therefore, why should I settle for less? There is really nothing wrong with her saying that. And the resentment that is coming forward and the sort of insults that's going towards her is usually coming from men that are misogynist. These men are the ones who really want to keep women in their place, to always allow you to bow down to them and to reverence them, and they in turn have no respect for women. It's a personal choice. And if a woman says, I am independent, I am not defined by my relationship with a man, I don't have to be with someone to feel value, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Women need to love themselves. As someone who has stayed as a single person for 10 years, I got to a point where I knew there was a lot more that I could do to grow or increase my self esteem. A lot of things I needed to do for myself so that if and when I met someone, they would find me complete. The relationship wouldn't complete me. They would find me in a position doing the things that I always wanted to do for myself. And then, then I can come together with another human being. We can grow together. We can have love, mutual love, and respect for each other, not because of what I can do for you or what he can do for me, but pretty much to maintain the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to and the lifestyle that I'd like to keep. You have to then say to yourself that, okay, what am I prepared to do for myself and not depend on other persons too much. Every person has a right to determine who is best for them. And a woman has every right to say that as an independent woman, these are the qualities I'm looking for in a man. The moment a woman starts to have value for herself and start to say that I deserve this or that, is the moment that woman, can truly say, I'm a special woman, I'm a powerful woman. And the same thing is true for men who have value in themselves to say, if I can't afford to take care of a woman, I should leave women alone. If I can't afford to take care of children, I should not be bringing children in this world. Because, having the children and telling how many kids you have and using them as a trophy is just shameless when these kids are suffering. And so again, I'm going to repeat, Miss Kitty said nothing wrong. She has every right to set her standard as high as possible. And she's made some very valid points to say, as women, sometimes we settle for less and we don't try to go out there and achieve anything for ourselves. And so when we are with men that don't value us or they are misogynist, we suffer the end, some terrible ends, if you ask me. She said nothing wrong. I agree with her. Everyone must have respect for themselves, have value for themselves, and look towards themselves to improve their own life. Stay blessed, everyone.